a playlist original.
Hey everyone, Jeff here from Films at Home. Thanks for coming back to the podcast today. Now, for this episode, because it has been Thanksgiving week here in the United States and life got a little bit busy, it was hard to get a guest. But what I wanted to do was still record an episode and talk about a very specific topic and a very relevant topic, which is Black Friday and Black Friday deals and sort of why I don't think that Black Friday, honestly, is the best time of year to buy pretty much anything in the home entertainment, physical media, TV, speaker space. And there's a few reasons for that. It's not an overarching, strict, fast rule that this is not the time to buy. But I am going to give you some things to watch out for, some things to be careful of on these holidays so that you can apply this to the future and also just to any other sales that you may see, like a Cyber Monday or, the Super Bowl sale or whatever it may be for TVs and home entertainment. So this won't be a super long episode with the holiday, but I did want to get this out there. And I think it'll be interesting because I think it'll generate some conversation. And I think maybe you guys will learn a little bit something. Now, next week, I'll be back with another guest. We're going to be talking to Brian Starr, B Star Cinema. He's all over TikTok. He's all over Instagram. He's all over YouTube. He is a massive collector and movie lover like myself. So we're going to talk to him next week. We'll be back with the guests. But for this week, it's just me. So sit back, relax. Make sure you like this episode if you enjoy it and follow along on YouTube or your podcast app for all the latest episodes. And now let's jump right into it. So Black Friday this year and really over the last several years, for me as a physical media collector and a home theater enthusiast, has been a little bit disappointing, but it's also been a sale that you really do need to be careful with. Now, on the physical media side of things, I know I tweeted about this and a lot of other people were sort of complaining too that, there haven't been great sales specifically on Black Friday. And honestly, that's because I think there are better sales throughout the year. Now, Black Friday used to be it. Like people used to save their deals for Black Friday, and everybody would look at the Target and the Walmart and the Best Buy and the Amazon catalogs. And, we would make lists of what's for sale, which movies are going on sale, which Blu-rays and 4Ks are dropping in price, which might be $3.99, what might be $5.99. That whole bit of like fun that we used to have, it's pretty much over at this point because people don't wait for Black Friday to buy things anymore. And especially in a world of physical media where the margins are slimmer and slimmer every day and the profit just isn't there, you're not going to see these crazy deals like you saw in the past, especially on 4K releases, which do cost a lot more to produce. Now, the good thing is we get several other sales throughout the year that I think are better. For instance, if you pay attention to Target and Amazon sales, every couple of months, Target seems to do a buy two, get one free sale on pretty much all movies, music, media, books, everything in that section. And it typically applies to their website, and Amazon typically will do the same thing on their site at the same time to sort of match up against what Target's doing. Now that I've found to be a better time to buy things even than Black Friday, because if you think about Black Friday costs, right? If you're lucky, you might be able to get 3 4K discs for, roughly they were all selling for about $10 each, $10 to $11. So you're getting 3 discs for say $30, $33. That's fine if you want to wait till Black Friday, but during these buy two get one sales, if the 4K discs are marked down to $15, sure, it doesn't feel like you're getting as great a deal, but buy 3 of them and you're getting 3 discs for $30. It's essentially the same deal, and you don't have to wait for Black Friday just because the sticker price drops to $10. You can buy them during these other sales and even do better than that, because throughout the year, 4K prices do go up and down. And so if you're lucky enough that, they drop to $7.99 or even $8.99, you're now doing better than probably what most of the Black Friday deals were. Now, as the physical media market changes, there's also more direct to consumer sites that are putting on better sales throughout the year. Now, groove.com, that's one that I really like. It's owned by Studio Distribution Services, who owns the home media distribution for Warner Brothers and Universal Studios. So they have a pretty decent catalog to work with. And on their site for Black Friday, they were doing, three 4K discs for $30, and they had some good deals on box sets and things of that nature, which I did post about. But throughout the year, they pretty much consistently do two 4K discs for like $22 or $24. And so sometimes the titles are a better selection as well. Like they'll be newer stuff. They also drop the price of box sets every once in a while. And you can use that 20% off coupon if you sign up for the first time. So there's just ways throughout the year. And the more these direct to consumer sites pop up, there's going to be more deals that aren't so Black Friday focused. Like, honestly, Halloween is a far better time. In the month of October is a far better time to buy stuff from like a Shout Factory than it is during Black Friday. Their Black Friday sales don't match up to their Shocktober sale because it makes more sense for them to put up sales in October. Then you've got the Criterion Collection, which this year happened to have a 50% off sale in November, but they'll also do that one more time throughout the year and then do a couple of flash sales. So again, you're not getting anything better on Black Friday there. You might as well just wait for the individual sales. And that's where sort of the knowledge and being involved in the community will really help you to get the best prices and the best deals on all of your 4K discs. You really do, if you want to get the best deals, you really do have to sort of stay up to date, follow relevant accounts like myself and others who will post deals, check out different forums and websites, and just pay attention, sign up for email lists, because I will guarantee you throughout 2023, there will be several sales which are going to be far better value than what you'll get from the big box retailers on Black Friday, especially when it comes to more direct to consumer stuff, or even some of these boutique labels like an Arrow Video, a Shout Factory, a Criterion, a Kino Lorber. They do far better sales throughout the year than they do on Black Friday. One exception this year was MVD, which had a great Black Friday sale, but they also do have several great sales throughout the year as well. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of people that I see online and I talk to, and they comment and they'll say, hey, I'm going to pick this one up on Black Friday. I'm going to pick this up on Black Friday. I'll wait till it drops on price on Black Friday. And to be honest, that's just not always the best way to do it. That is an easy way to do it. Sure, you can get everything for a pretty decent price on Black Friday, but really, if you pay attention and you can stack some coupons here or there or promo codes or pay attention to different, promotional sales, you'll do far better throughout the year spreading your money out than saving it all for that Black Friday holiday or even Cyber Monday, because honestly, those deals just aren't really what they used to be. We can't, these companies can't wait to make all their money on Black Friday, so they're doing deals throughout the year. So that's physical media. I think it's a lesser thing there. Like, it's not as big a deal. Black Friday is usually pretty close to the deals you get throughout the rest of the year. But one thing I wanted to really touch on was like TVs specifically and home theater equipment, because I know a lot of people, again, wait for Black Friday. They think Black Friday or Cyber Monday is the best time of the year to get deals on TVs. And wow, maybe you can get a 70-inch 4K TV for, $300. While that sounds like a great deal, if you really do want to invest in quality and you want something that's going to last and actually give you good picture, Black Friday is not usually the best time to buy. And even from some of the major brands, you have to be careful what you get. Now, obviously, a lot of you will see the brands like Element. I think that's like a Target brand that'll pop up, and Insignia will pop up, and Amazon Fire TVs will pop up. And these will all be super, super cheap, entry level. Sometimes they're 4K, and you can get these huge, massive screens, for, like I said, $300 or $400. But you don't know that brand. There's nothing that backs them up. Who's making the panel? What kind of software does that TV have? What kind of hardware does it have? Like, typically, those TVs, while yes, you can get a larger picture for cheap, they sort of sell you on the dimensions. They sell you on the fact that a 70-inch TV is only $400. And you don't think about all the other stuff that goes into a TV that gives you quality, like the color and like the panel and like the processing behind the scenes and what kind of software and chip does that TV have? Can it handle all the different HDR modes? Is it going to work well with a 4K player or gaming consoles? You don't really look at that because people get sucked into the size. And I get that, everybody going back to the days of like a 40-inch TV being this huge thing, everybody was size. Everybody wanted the biggest TV. And we've sort of topped out at that, right? Most people, biggest you'll buy now is like 75, 85 inches, fairly big, but you do have to be careful about what you're buying. Those no-name brands, there's a reason they're so cheap. And some stuff that's generic brand or no name, it's fine. You can do, Kirkland Signature, Costco's like name brand, generic brand. I get stuff from them all the time. I get my name brand stuff from my local grocery store. That's not a problem. Generic prescriptions are fine. But when you get into TVs, there definitely is a difference between sort of like that generic house brand, because all they're trying to do is get the cheapest, largest panel out to you for the lowest cost to them, so they can make a couple $100. And honestly, within a year or two, you're going to be looking for a new TV again. That TV is going to burn out. You're going to have problems with the panel. You're not going to get the performance you want. It may have software issues. It's just going to fall apart within a couple of years. They're essentially disposable TVs, and they sucker a lot of people into buying them. So the no-name brands are definitely something to watch out for. And I would not recommend most of them. If you want a lower budget TV that actually has a decent brand and some specs behind it, there are places like Hisense or even TCL that can give you that. And at least they have a recognized brand with support and with, decent warranties and decent specs for the price. But you're not going to see a lot of that go on sale on Black Friday. Now, even when it comes to name brands like your Samsungs, your Sonys, your LGs, these TV brands that we all know and I would say trust with our electronics equipment, home theater equipment, specifically TVs. On Black Friday, what happens is you'll see that there's, a 70-inch Samsung 4K TV and it's $600. And, in your head, you're like, okay, usually a good Samsung TV, 4K, 70 inches, what's that, $1,000, $1,500? Wow, $600. This is incredible, and it's a Samsung, so I know I'm getting something good. The problem is, while there are some good models on sale, a lot of what gets put out on Black Friday, even by the brand names, especially the cheaper stuff, the doorbuster deals, the stuff to get you in the door, it's not top of the line. Basically, Samsung, Sony, LG, whoever, they're doing what the generic brands at Target and Walmart and Best Buy do, and they're putting out their cheapest panels, the cheapest technology, the cheapest software and processing to get you to buy a TV that honestly might not have more than like $50 to $100 worth of electronics in it for $600 because you recognize the name brand and it's a really big TV, so that's great. There are plenty of deals, like my LG C2 OLED TV that I really like and I use in my home theater now. That was on sale, but you'll notice that they go on sale for like 5%, 10% off. And some of these cheaper, lower quality TVs will be 50% off or more. And the other thing you really need to look for is model numbers, because they can't fake that on you, right? LG, if they're going to put out a cheap TV, they can't say it's a C2 OLED and it's on sale for $1,000 off and it's only $800. They can't do that. That's false advertising. So they use different model numbers, and they may be slight variations. Like Samsung, you may see like a KS8000S. They add a little S on the end, or they add a little M on the end of things just to kind of signify that it is a different model. And so you see the model that maybe you thought you liked that is actually still $1,500. They give you a lower quality version of it and sell it for half off. And that's how they kind of sucker you in, even from the brand names. So it's definitely something to be careful of when you're shopping on Black Friday. Physical media, you don't have to worry about it, right? Like West Side Story on 4K is West Side Story. If you want to pick up the Batman on 4K, you're not getting a lower quality version because the price is cheaper. But with TV and electronics, you definitely are. And this could apply to TVs. This could apply to receivers, projectors, speakers, Not so much 4K players and stuff because there aren't enough of them now, but definitely back in the day of DVD and Blu-ray players, they'd put some cheap models out there that don't have the best specs. So you just have to be really careful and always, always, always make sure you do your research. Don't impulse buy a TV, and don't be fooled by, just basic advertising and marketing or flyers or commercials that are promoting these super, super cheap big screen TVs, because there's a reason they're cheap. You are getting what you pay for. And that maybe isn't always the case. Like, I'll tell you that, the difference between a $2,000 TV and a $5,000 TV, probably pretty tight. But the difference between a $500 TV and a $1,500 TV can be a pretty big difference. So there is sort of that sweet spot, and always do your research, always double check the model numbers. And if you do see something that's a model that you've never seen before that appears on Black Friday, even if it is a Samsung, a Sony, an LG, you have to assume that that model was created for Black Friday and it's lower quality, because they don't release new TV models until January and into February, after the CES show takes place in Vegas, which is the Consumer Electronics Show. Which brings me to my next point. When is the best time to actually buy a TV? And that would be in February. Now, you have to be careful here as well, because February, you'll notice they always do Super Bowl sales. All the ads around that time, they're all focused on the Super Bowl, the big football game in the United States. And they try to sell you really large TVs because you want to enjoy the game on a brand new TV and upgrade it for your party and all that stuff. So you have to still be careful with model numbers, but it's less prevalent there. And what they're usually doing for Super Bowl sales is just getting last year's models off the lot, much like a car dealership would do. They're getting the 2022 models off the lot because now that CES has taken place, they've announced their 2023 models, and those are going to make their way to stores. So now the stores are clearing out inventory. But that's not a bad thing, because typically year to year, unless something massive changes, like the first 4K TV was released or a new HDR codec, unless something major changes over the last, I'd say like 3 or 4 years, the difference between model years and TVs has been pretty small. Like, if you bought a 2022, there's not much in a 2023 model that's probably going to make much of a difference to you, other than they've just updated some specs. Maybe they're using different panels. Maybe they're calling it something different. It might have some sort of gimmicky feature that really doesn't matter to you. So it's a great time to buy in February, because you can get super high quality TVs from the previous model year. We're talking OLED TVs, mini LED, QLED, whatever you want. They typically all go on sale because they got to make room on the shop floor. And even online retailers like Amazon, they're making room in the warehouse because they need to clear these things out to get the newest model that the companies want to push. So that's when I've always had really great luck, is in February. You can go in February and you will probably see that a lot of the TVs that were just on sale for Black Friday and Cyber Monday here at the end of 2022, that's sort of their last grasp to get you to buy this year's models before the new stuff is announced. By February, cat's already out of the bag. The new stuff is announced. That's what they want to sell. That's what they want to push. That's what marketing's going to push. And those old models, they're probably cheaper than what you just saw last week on Black Friday. So if you can hold out just a couple of months, my advice would always be to wait until February for TVs, and honestly, a lot of different consumer electronics, because they're all announced in January at this big trade show. And so in February, you start to see last year's models get cleared out. One great place to look, if you do want to check in on some last year's models, or maybe some stuff that you can get really high quality but for a good price, is to actually see if you have any local, like, home theater equipment stores that, not a Best Buy, not a Walmart, not a Target. They're going to deal with your pretty, run-of-the-mill stuff. But if you maybe have a home theater equipment store or an installer near you who, possibly bought some stock from last year, it's a much bigger deal for them to clear out stock than it is for a Best Buy, who can just, write this stuff off if it doesn't sell, and, it ends up in a dumpster or whatever. It ends up being recycled. So that's another place to look. Sometimes you can find some really high quality equipment that maybe is now out of date for that installer, and they're doing high quality, high-priced home theaters. These people are going to want the latest and greatest equipment, and they're sitting on an old receiver or an old TV that they can't get rid of. Another great place to look, especially around that time of year. It can be hard to do. I know a lot of these places don't exist, especially as the chains have pretty much taken over. Like Best Buy essentially is the home theater store at this point, but they do. I know there's several around me, and I'm sure there are several around you. Maybe shoot some emails, see if anybody's got some last year's models, see if they've got a clearance section. You may have to dig in, but that's a really, really good place to look and potentially find some higher end stuff that you may not even see in most stores for a very good price. So I know that this episode is going to release after Black Friday, and I wish I just didn't have the time to get it out before. But this is a topic that I touched on briefly in our podcast with Adam Hlavik from the last episode, where we were talking about sort of how you can get really bamboozled on a Black Friday with especially TV deals. But I just think it's important that people understand that Black Friday, Cyber Monday, like those are marketing terms. There are definitely places where you can get great deals, but don't feel like you need to save up all year to spend on that day. And if you don't have the money, don't feel like you missed out. Maybe you're out of a job right now, and in February you've landed yourself a great job. Well, guess what? You didn't miss out. Still could be a great time to buy movies, could be a great time to buy a TV, and you just really have to pay attention to all the different deals, because it is not the end all be all that I think sometimes the marketing teams at these stores and online retailers, I mean, I have been bombarded with emails. I'm getting emails from companies I haven't bought from in years. And Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, they want me to, buy this product and they'll donate $5. Like there's always some sort of catch to this whole week. And all they want to do is give you that FOMO, that fear of missing out, that, you're going to miss a deal and you got to buy it right now. And this is true for so many things. Like I'll give you a great example. We moved into a new house recently, as you may know, and we needed to update some of the kitchen appliances. Not an immediate need, but we figured, all right, if we're going to update them, well, then let's update the whole kitchen. Let's get the fridge, let's get the stove, the microwave, the dishwasher. Let's just do it all and see what's out there. We went to a Home Depot in late October. We found some stuff we really liked. We put it together, thought it was a good price. The guy at Home Depot comes up to me and says, hey, don't buy right now because Black Friday is coming up and the deals will be so much better. So me not knowing as much about appliances as I do TVs in that market and home theater, home entertainment, I put my trust in the guy. We go back 2 weeks later. They've got their Black Friday deals that are starting sort of throughout the whole month of November. I pull up the exact 4 appliances that we wanted, and they're all 10 to 15% higher than they were a few weeks ago. Now, yes, they're technically on sale for a higher percentage, but some of the appliance dealers in October had a great bundle sale, if you bundled things together, that they dropped for Black Friday. So you really just you never can tell, but it is important to look at sort of release schedules for when new appliances drop, when do new cars drop, when do new TVs drop and new electronics, because after that, you'll always get a better deal. But, you can never time these things perfectly. I thought I'd believe the guy and I said, oh, I'll go in November and I'll buy everything up and we'll be fine. Turns out I should have bought it in October, and now we're not going to buy it in November, and I'll wait to see if those deals do come back around, maybe later this year, maybe into the springtime when they do some, sales and different deals there. But it's just, remember, at the end of the day, and I'm a marketing person, like I know this better than anybody, all of this stuff, it's marketing. It's meant to not maybe trick you, but it's meant to make you buy things on impulse. It's meant to make you make fast decisions. There's a reason why sometimes when you go to different retailers or, you're buying concert tickets and you're not sure if those are the seats you want, they put you on a 5-minute timer. Yeah, part of that is because they need to release the seats to someone else. The other part of it is they're putting pressure on you to buy. So there's all these different tactics in Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of this stuff that happens this time of year. It's just another marketing tactic. And really, you have to do your own research, dive into the sales schedules, dive into individual models, check websites like camel.com. I know that sounds funny, camel, but go there. They have price trackers. You can look at a TV model specifically and see where it's dropped to its lowest price. Are you getting a good deal right now or not? Same with movies. You'll see, oh, that movie's on sale for $12.99. Well, 4 weeks ago, it was on sale for $7.99. So chances are it's going to drop back down pretty soon, and you could probably wait for it. There's all these great tools out there. And so basically, this episode, all I wanted to do was just get across that, I think there's ways to be a very smart shopper. And being a smart shopper does not mean, for the most part, spending all your money on Black Friday. It just doesn't. Obviously, there's necessity, and if you need something, you have to go buy it. But if you're in the market for a TV, if you're in the market for appliances, take your time, do your research, find out, read the reviews, figure out when these new models release and when last year's models are getting pushed out. Because honestly, that's business. They have to clear inventory. You're going to have a much better time than in Black Friday, when they have no need to clear inventory for 3 months and they're just trying to sell you on cheap, off-brand or very low quality sets from even major manufacturers. It's can be really tricky out there, but I do encourage you all to make sure you do your research on all this stuff, because you don't want to get tricked. So that is pretty much it for the episode. If you guys do have more questions about this, I have been answering a ton of Instagram direct messages and Twitter direct messages, comments on YouTube. People have been, sometimes emailing me and asking me, hey, is this a good deal? What do you know about this model? What do you know about that model? I'd always encourage you to do your own research, and I'm just one person, but I always am, happy to look at that stuff if you have questions. And really just pay attention to model numbers, pay attention to what you're actually getting, pay attention to the specs, pay attention to those things. If you're going to invest $1,000 into a TV, make sure it's something that's going to get you more than a couple of years before the panel burns out. Make sure it's something that you're going to get, the thousands of dollars you've invested into your collection and your 4K player. Make sure it's something that's going to give you back what you put in. There's a lot of different things to look at. And, like I said, this isn't just TVs. This isn't just physical media. It's cars, it's appliances. There's certain things you can't time. You never know if buying a house or something is a good time in the market or not. But typically with consumer goods, you can pretty much price these things out, and they have a schedule throughout the year. And just pay attention to that. Sign up for different emails from different retailers, and you'll see throughout the year, there are definitely better times to buy than Black Friday. So thanks for listening and or watching if you're on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. We did just hit 100,000 subscribers in between this episode and my last episode, which is amazing. But we want to keep growing, so make sure you're subscribed and you never miss an episode, a review, a commentary video, whatever I'm up to. And if you're on a podcast platform like a Spotify or an Apple Podcast and you enjoyed the episode and enjoy the show, please leave a 5-star review. Maybe leave a comment if you can on the review as well. I'd really appreciate that, because we have actually been climbing the charts a little bit on the Spotify charts and the Apple charts. I was top 30 for film review podcasts, which is super cool. So thank you all for the support there. I'll be back very soon to the channel with more reviews, more 4K reviews, more collection videos, more talk about home entertainment and physical media, all the stuff you come to expect from me. And like I said, next week on the podcast we'll be having Brian Starr, and I think he's going to be a great guest. He's actually in a really cool place in his collection where he's sort of been upgrading from DVD. He's had thousands and thousands of DVDs, and he's been slowly upgrading from DVD to Blu-ray and now diving into some 4K as well. So he's a really interesting guy to talk to, because he's been collecting since, way back before I was in the DVD days. And, he's now slowly upgrading his collection. And he's doing it in a really thoughtful way that I think, make sure that he can upgrade without breaking the bank, which is an important topic that we will talk about, that you don't always have to buy the 4K right when it comes out. We'll get into that, but he's doing a really interesting thing, and he's building content around it too, which I think is super cool. So we'll talk to him next week. That'll be a great interview, so stay tuned for that one. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay healthy out there. Have a great holiday season, and hopefully you'll be back soon, and I'll be talking with you soon as well. So thanks for listening.
Coming soon. Be sure to subscribe to the Films at Home podcast using your favorite app so you don't miss another episode. And while you're there, don't forget to rate and review this podcast, which helps us out tremendously. You can also help support us by watching our short-form content over on YouTube and TikTok by searching Films at Home. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at films_at_home. The intro and outro were created by Elin Osborne. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.